In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of living in Carson City, Nevada. What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. And if it's your first time here, my name is Gabriella. I am an outdoor photographer and I've been living in Lake Tahoe, but very recently I moved to Carson City. I want to talk about some of the pros and cons that I've experienced living here and how it differs from living in South Lake Tahoe, because I do get a lot of these housing questions and I feel like I have lived here long enough to experience the difference and experience some of the pros and cons of being in Carson City. So yeah, I'm just going to get right into it and share it with you guys. Pro number one is the proximity to Lake Tahoe, particularly the East Shore. It takes me the same amount of time to drive to Lake Tahoe's East Shore, which is like my favorite part. That's where you're gonna find that gorgeous turquoise water. But it takes about the same amount of time to drive there from Carson City as it did from South Lake Tahoe, which is about 30 minutes. That being said, if I want to go to the West Shore, Emerald Bay, DL Bliss, that area, it does take a little bit longer, like around an hour, which is kind of a pain, but what can you do? Pro number two is that it's just a really pretty little city. It's very quaint, it's very charming, it's very clean. It is the Nevada state capital, so I think that's part of the reason why it's so taken care of. There's a lot of history here and a lot of the buildings are preserved and beautiful, and it's just surrounded by mountains, which is really, really nice. Even in my own backyard, I'm like right at the foot of these beautiful snow-capped mountains, and it's a very scenic place. Another pro is the cost of living. You definitely get a little bit more for your money living in Carson City than in Lake Tahoe. Well, in South Lake Tahoe, because that's really the only area that I've lived in. Gas is a lot cheaper here, and you just get more for your money in Carson City. I've heard that that prices in Carson City have gone up in the last couple of years. I'm not sure what it was like a few years ago, but I just know that compared to South Lake Tahoe, it's still more affordable. Another pro of living in Carson City is its proximity to Reno. It's nice being only 30 minutes from the airport, not even. I think Reno has a little more going on in terms of stores and things like that. Carson City does have stuff. There's, you know, all those basic stores like Costco and Target and all those kind of stores. But yeah, it's just smack in the middle of Reno and Lake Tahoe, so that's nice. Another pro of Carson City is that there's very little tourists here, which is kind of nice. That's a nice change because I was living in State Line, which is one of the most touristy areas of Lake Tahoe, so it's a nice change not being inundated with tourists on the weekend. It's very quiet, and quiet is good for me. I don't know, I like hearing, it's kind of nice. I can hear the sounds of like frogs and stuff like at night outside my window. I really like that quiet, like nature sounds at night. Okay, so another pro is the weather. The weather here is very mild and temperate, very similar to Lake Tahoe, but less snow. Even in the winter, it's like 50, 60 degrees. It's just very pleasant. And there's seasons here as well, which is nice. I haven't lived here for fall, but I have visited and there's beautiful fall colors here. I noticed a couple weeks ago that there was a lot of flowers here in April and March, just a lot of blooming, I don't know what you call them, blossom trees or something. Pink, they're pretty. So yeah, it's really pretty. I haven't been here for summer yet, and I got the tail end of winter, which was just, like I said, mild and nice. Another pro, I think, I mean, this might sound silly to some people, but I think another pro is the wild horses that live around here. I live like 8 minutes from Washoe State Park, and there's wild horses around there. There's wild horses in Carson Valley. This area is their home, and they're beautiful wild animals, and it's just kind of nice to be able to go and see them, or just be driving your car and there they are. I just think that's kind of cool. All right, so let me get to some of the cons. The first con is that, and this con depends on your age. I don't know how to say it without like sounding kind of, so to me, the first con is that it's a very older demographic. Carson City is known as a retirement community. That might be a con to some people who are looking for a little bit more energy, a little bit more liveliness. I noticed that places close very early, like around 9 p.m., like a lot of the bars and restaurants and stuff. A lot of the time, it's kind of dead. The weekend gets a little bit of activity, but for the most part, like even in downtown Carson City, it's pretty dead. So I guess that just depends on what you're looking for and how old you are. So, you know, somebody might like that. Another con is the dry air. I've mentioned this in my other videos. I have a love-hate relationship with the dry air. I love not having like frizzy hair from the humidity, but I just don't like it on my skin and my eyes. It kind of sucks. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like LA is the perfect combination of dry versus humid, and this area is just a little bit too dry for me. But again, some people might like that. And another con would be the lack of jobs here. I haven't lived here for very long and I haven't tried to get a job in Carson City, but from what I can see, it doesn't seem like there's that many jobs around here other than industry jobs, like getting a job in a casino or like a golf course, like jobs like that. I don't know, let me know if I'm wrong on that, but it doesn't seem like a place with tons of job opportunities. And like I said, it is primarily a retirement community. And my last con is just the lack of outdoor activities. I feel like people might not agree with me on this, but I just don't think that there's that much to do here in terms of hiking and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ATV trails and things like that. There's a couple of nice paths. I think it's called the Carson River Trail or something. There's things to do, but just compare, like if I'm gonna do an outdoor activity, I'm gonna go to Lake Tahoe. It's just so much prettier there in terms of the hikes, but that's just my opinion. You know, all these are my opinions and my own personal observations. So those were some of the pros and cons of living in Carson City and how it differs from living in South Lake Tahoe. Like I mentioned earlier, I haven't lived here for very long, so if you're watching this video and you've lived here for a little while and you want to share a few pros and cons, feel free to leave that in the comments. I've made a couple videos about living in South Lake Tahoe and people love to share their pros and cons. so feel free to share. And if you're interested in supporting any of my videos or me as a creator, I have linked my PayPal link in the description. I'm like so bad at promoting myself, but I decided I'm gonna like start doing it here and there. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give it a like or share it, and definitely subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.